First off, you're getting a lot of these questions about it's an A-list ensemble, and you've had to answer this question, I guess maybe for the last year, year and a half, working with so many veterans. I decided to just cut to the chase and look at some of your interviews, and you had Susan Sarandon talking about living a life outside of cinema or television or your work. And you were talking about going to golf and whatnot. Now with COVID and everything and balancing your work, what have you become, I guess, maybe passionate about or just trying out as far as enhancing your life during these last, what, 6, 7 months?
Well, the golf has actually come from that because certainly in the UK, the golf courses opened quite early on in the lockdown because it's so easy to do that with social distancing in place because you don't need to go anywhere near someone and it's outside, right? So that was something that I picked up, a hobby that I picked up during lockdown actually. So I did a lot of that, a lot of fishing, and just bike rides, stuff like that. I've been really active. I'm probably the fittest I've ever been from lockdown because there's been nothing else to do other than keep fit all the time, I guess, and do sort of outdoor activities and sports and stuff. So that's been one of the best parts of it, really refreshing and sort of doing stuff other than work for a while because normally it's just work, 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 and I never get time to do anything that I enjoy, which is good, obviously, and I'm really grateful for that. But it's kind of been a nice sort of reset moment for me these past couple of months. And then now things are starting up again, and I also took a lot of time to watch back a lot of movies that I used to really enjoy when I was younger. So a couple of weeks ago, me and my girlfriend sat down and rewatched all of the Harry Potter, and Harry Potter is something that really initially sparked my interest in cinema and exploring other worlds and stuff. And I kind of feel like this newly found childlike energy about my job again, and I really look forward to jumping back into a new script.
You know, when they talk about childlike energy, there are moments in this movie where you're it's just you and Sam Neill, or it's
Mm,
just you and Susan Sarandon. And
mm.
for, I guess, an average movie fan like me, they're saying, "Oh, was it how did you get up for that day? How, you know?" And I'm thinking, but you're a professional. So what do you get from those kind of exchanges that maybe we don't get as moviegoers? Because it seemed to me from an outside point of view that you must have learned a lot being in that same space, what just kind of mano a mano in certain scenes with these really great veteran actors.
Yeah, I mean, a massive thing that I take away from it is never treat someone differently because of their age or if they're in a different sort of circumstance or stage in their career to you. Give them the respect that you want and help people along because you know all of these people. Susan Sarandon will tell you she didn't get to where she was without people giving her a helping hand and you know teaching her certain things and you pick things up from these people as you go along. You know, on Blackbird specifically, it was my first opportunity to play a lead role. So it was my first opportunity to really get into the nitty gritty parts of a rehearsal process. And so on Blackbird, I watched how Kate Winslet prepares for a role, Rain Wilson, Lindsay Duncan, Taylor-Klaus, all these people at different parts of their career and who have had very different careers. You know, like Lindsay's done a lot of theatre. Bex has done a lot of TV. So I could see how all these individual performers work their characters and how they build things. And so I kind of picked my favorite parts of all of that and have built my own process. And, you know, from a work point of view, other than the fact that they just haven't forgot where they've come from, those guys, they were so playful and so not afraid to make a mistake or to try something that might be a bit ridiculous or might be a bit naff. They just did it anyway. And they encouraged me to do the same, even though, you know, I didn't have the experience behind me to support if I made a bad mistake. They were so encouraging of me to just try new things out and stuff. So I definitely learned to just be calm and be playful and enjoy what you do as opposed to making it like work.
Another question you've had to answer, I'm sure, all day and all these months is everyone getting the same tattoo on the production. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the question a little bit different. But what was it like having just Roger as a director, as kind of a captain of the ship? Because his movies, there's a real sense of, no matter what genre he tackles, there's a real sense of humanity in that work. And that him as a filmmaker combined with this really truthful subject matter and realistic subject matter, did that make this environment just a really special thing? And is that maybe why you felt like a real family towards even the last day of production?
Absolutely, and it starts in casting, which is obviously down to the casting director facilitates it and gives their opinion, but the director obviously has the final say. And I think he cast the movie so perfectly because everyone fit into their specific role in the family dynamic perfectly. Kate Winslet's a mother, Rainn Wilson's a father, Susan and Sam are both grandparents. And so we kind of had this natural family dynamic that Roger then just encouraged us by forcing us to spend a lot of time together outside of work, forcing us to tell each other, not forcing, we did it willingly, but requiring us to tell each other about our personal experiences with our own family and our family history. We really did form this family. And we sort of realized at the end that Roger was almost like the unseen and unspoken of ninth member of the family. He almost felt like, not to get religious, but like the person looking over us, or maybe our conscience that we all shared. And, we all knew what was right and what was wrong. And Roger was kind of the voice in our heads telling us that. And that's certainly how it felt. And he made it, you're right, the humanity, I think, comes from how quiet it felt. The crew was so small. And often Roger would put the camera in the corner of the room that we were shooting in, ask all of the crew to leave the house, and just leave the camera rolling and just ask us to play out the scene a few times. Wow. And then once we'd achieved the scripted take that he needed, do a few where we knew that at the end of the scene, it needed to finish up like this, but to get there, do whatever you want to get it there. There's no map, just play it out and improvise. And so then you find these really natural moments that a real family would experience. So yeah, he does sort of really encourage this element of naturalism and humanity.